Now today it's another interesting edition of the Spanish-Portuguese head. Rabbi Solomon Ayllon, famous rabbi, especially in London, Amsterdam. He became the head of the Spanish-Portuguese Jewish community, one of the chief rabbis of his time, and he was a follower of the Shabtai Tzvi. He was Sabbatean at one stage in time, so that obviously caused a lot of controversy, and obviously we know the heresy with regards to the Shabtai Tzvi in of itself, but originally he was a follower. I think he did renounce it towards the end of his life, if I'm not mistaken. Now I think his name is actually derived from the town of Aïlion, which is in the province of Segovia, respectively. He was born in the year 1660, and I believe he passed away on the 10th of April in the year 1728. He was a rabbi, a Talmudist. He wasn't like a very on a high level at that stage in time, but he was close, as we stated before, with the Sabbateanism movement. I think especially he was connected even with Nathan of Gaza and Nehemiah Hayon, we spoke about. He would spend, when he was young, he would spend a lot of time in Salonika, which was possibly the place where he was born, reported over from the Wikipedia article. Some people would say that he was born also maybe in Tzfat, that was a holy city at the time, but there's different opinions over there. I think he associated with other people from the Sabbatean circle, especially there was a philosopher, Solomon Florentine, and other people in that let's just say that circle of crowd itself. And very interesting. I think it was in the year 1687 it was reported over. Remember, he was born around the year 1680. In the year 1687, his daughter Gratia was born in Jerusalem. He was, and so I remember that point. And then 1 year later, he would visit all over Europe. I think he would be a rabbinic emissary, shulach. He would actually represent Israel, trying to raise funds, let's say, to strengthen the communities and himself, collect money for the poor people that lived in Palestine at that point in time. I think in those days it wasn't so easy to travel to. He left his wife and children in Tzfat, and it's reported that at that stage in time he would actually break away from the Sabbateanism movement. He would go to Livorno and spend time there. I think he was there in 1688. And he would go to Amsterdam at one stage in time, and then travel to London. And I think in 6th of June 1689, he would have been less than 30 years of age at that point in time. He would be appointed the Chacham in London over there. But I think there was politics taking place in London at that point in time with regards to specifically a man in the congregation named Ya'akov Vidank was reported over. And this could maybe have, let's say, quietened down his time that he would spend in London, respectively, over there. And so his period in London wasn't as that smooth at that point in time. I think he was in communication with other rabbis from London, very strong, working with especially Rabbi Ya'akov Sasportas, who was, I think, the first chief rabbi of there. And he spent a period of time in London, I think in 1696, was a famous letter with Rabbi Ya'akov Sasportas, where it chronicles his time here in London over there. And he was in correspondence with other people from all over the place. I'm not sure when his tenure as a Chacham of London would actually finish. It started around 1690, 1689. But come on, 1701, he was accepted as a rabbi of the Sephardic congregation rabbi in Amsterdam, respectively. Now there was questionings with regards to some of his actions when he got to Amsterdam, especially he would, it's reported over, give over Haskama to a work of Miguel Cardoso, I think, which was called, the work was called the Bokeh Abraham, which was seen as quite controversial already. And that obviously put the Chacham, let's just say, and not the highest self-esteem of the people at that point in time. Many people would have said that this Cardozo's work, which he had given Haskama to, was deserving of, like, say, a ban, a cherem, this specific work in of itself. but he didn't do it. Now it's actually interesting. Famously, the Chacham Tzvi, Rabbi Tzvi Ashkenazi, would actually come to Amsterdam and become the rabbi of the Ashkenazi community. So he, Rabbi Ayllon, was a rabbi of the Sephardic community, and there was a huge dispute that went on at that point in time regarding a man named Nehemiah Hayon, who was seen as a heretic at the end, and tried to, let's say, perpetuate and publicize the Sabbatin movement at that point in time, and was seen giving like a forged haskamot towards books with his writings, and tried to get that from members over there. But I think there was two people that really sniffed, let's just say, Nehemiah Hayon as being a heretic or trying to do this forging work, including Rabbi Moshe Hagiz, which was a great rabbi at that point in time, and Rabbi Tzvi Ashkenazi, the Chacham Tzvi. Also, I think Nehemiah Hayon will publish a work in 1711, and it was denounced by Rabbi Moshe Hagiz and the Chacham Tzvi, Rabbi Tzvi Ashkenazi, as heretical over there. And they would notify the people of that place and put it in a ban over there. And many people at that point in time had the opinion that Nehemiah Hayon's works was heretical over there. Now it's actually interesting. At that point in time, Solomon Ayllon, let's just say, who was head rabbi at that stage in time, was persuaded by various other people at that point in time, let's just say, to have a partial or some form of support for Nehemiah Ayllon, who was trying to forging those books at that point in time, and supported over that Rabbi Ayllon would actually persuade an influential member of their Ma'amad, a man named Aaron de Pinto, to take up the matter as to stir political issues within regards to this. And he felt that there was trying to make politics within the Sephardic community, Rabbi Ayllon did, so he didn't take too kindly over there. And now at this stage in time, we weren't sure how much of Sabbatian Rabbi Ayllon was or not, but he would seemingly partially defend Nehemiah Hayon at that point in time. And this caused a lot of controversy, also and disruption within regards to for Chacham Tzvi at that point in time, which because Chacham Tzvi and Rav Moshe Hagiz had put Nehemiah Hayon, let's just say, into cherem, into excommunication at that point in time. But Ayllon maybe had some loyalty, so let's just say, because he was acquainted with Nehemiah Hayon, it caused a lot of friction, and they themselves would tell Chacham Tzvi, why are you getting involved with our affairs, our community over here? And it caused a lot of friction between, let's just say, Sephardi community and Ashkenazi community over there. And I believe they would actually investigate within Ayllon and within regards to the heresy potentially behind Nehemiah Hayon, and they judged Ayllon, Rabbi Ayllon did, and a committee, that Hayon's work was okay. But remember, I think at the end of his life, Rabbi Ayllon will actually apologize to Rabbi Moshe Hagiz and the Chacham Tzvi that that he realized that the workings of Nehemiah Hayon was not okay, and it was on the lines of heresy over there. So this committee at that point in time that determined, let's just say, Nehemiah Hayon's, let's just say, works was okay, was very disrupted against, let's just say, Rabbi Tzvi Ashkenazi and Rabbi Moshe Hagiz, and I think they would actually now in turn excommunicate those two people, let's just say, because they tried to make the excommunication against the book of Hayon. And but I think at a later stage, as we said before, Rabbi Ayllon would actually realize that the work of Hayon, Nehemiah Hayon, was let's just say bordering on, or was very much a heretical work in and of itself. Yes, so it's actually interesting. Okay. I'm just checking just a bit more information with regards to it. But we know that there was this friction that actually occurred between Chacham Tzvi and Rabbi Solomon Ayllon, and they would actually now have to leave Amsterdam because of this whole issue. The Chacham Tzvi would do. Chacham Tzvi was a very great rabbi, I remember that time, and the rabbi of the Ashkenazi community over there. And eventually this would actually even go to discussions inside the Amsterdam court, and I'm not too sure, it could be even non-Jewish courts actually got involved at the end. And I think somewhat at time period when Rabbi Tzvi Ashkenazi passed away, I think in 1718, Solomon Ayllon would confess that he had wronged the man. He would admit that everything that happened to Rabbi Tzvi Ashkenazi was the wrongdoing, and he would actually apologize for any actions he did. I think at a later stage, Nehemiah Hayon, whose book was, let's just say, cleared among Rabbi Solomon Ayllon and the Sephardi community, he now would try and visit Amsterdam when Rabbi Ayllon was still the rabbi over there, and Rabbi Ayllon at that stage in time would refuse to even visit, would refuse a visit of Nehemiah Hayon. Obviously, seemingly saw that he was a heretic, Nehemiah Hayon was, and obviously was able to realize he did the wrongdoing, and that part of itself. I think in 1717, Rabbi Solomon Ayllon would get married to Rabbi Leah Medina. This was she was, I think, 32 years of age at that point in time, and he would eventually pass away in Amsterdam in the year 1728. Rabbi Ayllon did. So he was probably the rabbi over there for, I would assume, nearly about more than 25 years he would spend as rabbi over there. So remember, he was a Sabbatean originally, but he would denounce it again. He supported Nehemiah Hayon, let's just say, his books, but realized at the end that they were heretical, and even apologized to Chacham Tzvi, Rabbi Tzvi Ashkenazi, and a huge political disruption actually took place between the Ashkenazic rabbi, the Chacham Tzvi, and the head Sephardi rabbi, Rabbi Solomon Ayllon. But he would, just to clarify, he would apologize at the end of life and realize that Nehemiah Hayon's book was heretical in of itself. But he passed away, I believe, in the year 1728, so he would have been about 68 years of age at the time he passed away. Rabbi Ayllon was, so he was about 68 years of age. He was, as we stated before, he was the Chacham, the Sephardi community over there, and of London, also one of the chief rabbis over there. And Rabbi Moshe Hagiz, who was also involved, who was on the Chacham Tzvi side and really did actually expose, let's just say, the heretical writings of Nehemiah Hayon, was a great rabbi himself, Rabbi Moshe Hagiz. He passed away himself in 1750 in Tzvat, and he was an author of many great books, let's just say, and he was a son of Rabbi Ya'akov Hagiz. He was, and Rabbi Moshe Hagiz was really the one that unmasked, let's say, the heretical work of Nehemiah Hayon, and much more can be said even about that. He was actually Rabbi Moshe Hagiz was an anti-Sabbatean in every single aspect of his life. He did a huge amount of things, but I would recommend everyone to watch also the video we did with regards to Rabbi Moshe Hagiz, and also with regards to Chacham Tzvi. They were great rabbis at that point in time, and learn more about the history of the Sabbatean, all the affair that actually took place at that point in time. We spoke about the heretic works of Nehemiah Hayon in previous videos also, so please everyone subscribe to the channel. We're a community here, we're learning about various famous rabbis of yesteryear. If you happen to descend from any of the great rabbis, please send me an email, I'd love to hear more. Thanks so much, and have a